the most corrupt, poor, and forgotten Europe. Many Western Europeans, when thinking about Eastern Europe, see it this way. Yet we are talking about countries with fascinating history and culture, not to mention breathtaking architecture and nature. Even on this channel, we have often spoken about this part of Europe, and we've seen that some of the things said about Eastern Europe are true, but others are just prejudices. Today we want to reveal to you some hidden gems of Eastern Europe. These are just a few, so feel free to share others in the comments. One final note. Experts disagree on how Europe should really be divided. Since we had to choose a map, for this video, we followed this one, which includes only 7 nations in Eastern Europe. Welcome to this new video of Amazing Europe. Number 1. Latvia. Latvia gained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, and since then has progressively distanced itself from Russia, joining NATO and the European Union in 2004. This historic change is reflected both in its population, which is still a quarter Russian, and in its architecture. With its 800,000 inhabitants, Riga, the capital, is the largest metropolis in the Baltic states. After the fall of communism, it attracted more and more tourists thanks to its sophisticated atmosphere, earning it the nickname Paris of the East. Despite the Soviet buildings, often considered aesthetically questionable, the harmony of the old town remains intact, especially in the charming squares of the Dome and Town Hall. Just a few kilometers from the capital is Kämeri National Park. It is the third largest natural park in Latvia, rich in forests and marshes. These marshes can be as deep as 2 stories, so much so that many tanks sank into them during World War II. With its 255 species of birds, it is a popular spot for birdwatching. Another fascinating corner of Latvia is Gauja National Park, the largest in the country. In addition to its vast forests, it also hosts 500 monuments, including churches, manors, watermills, windmills, and other wonders. Number 2. Moldova. Moldova is one of the poorest countries in Europe and, unfortunately, for this reason, often underrated. Yet, it boasts many natural and architectural marvels. One of these is Old Orhei, a unique historical and natural site that enchants with its green hills and the deep gorges of the Route River. This ancient archaeological complex is a window into the past, where the remains of millennia-old civilizations, from the Dacians to the Mongols, coexist with rock-carved monasteries and breathtaking landscapes. Here you will also find a wonderful Orthodox monastery with splendid golden domes, still inhabited by some monks who manage the church on top of the hill. Not far away, you can find another wonderful monastery, Kirki Monastery, one of Moldova's most important spiritual symbols. Built in the 18th century, this monastic complex impresses with its Baroque architecture and splendid domes. During World War II, the monastery suffered severe damage, with the destruction of icons and 2 bell towers. Number 3. Ukraine. Lately, this nation has been at the center of the news, but little is known about its natural beauty and architectural wonders. Among its most enchanting marvels are the Carpathian Mountains, an impressive mountain range. Here, nestled among dense pine forests, lies Lake Sinevere, known as the Eye of the Carpathians. This crystal-clear lake, formed by a landslide thousands of years ago, captivates visitors with its pure waters and breathtaking scenery, reflecting the sky and surrounding mountains. But surely, the city that helps us discover Ukraine and Ukrainians the most is Kyiv, the capital. It is one of the oldest cities in Europe, founded over 1400 years ago. A crossroads between East and West, it was the heart of Kievan Rus, a powerful medieval Slavic state, and the cradle of Christianity in the region in 988. Today, Kyiv is a symbol of resilience and national identity, with historical landmarks like St. Sophia Cathedral. Built in 1037, with its golden domes and intricate mosaics, it is one of the masterpieces of Byzantine architecture. Dominating Kyiv's skyline is the majestic Motherland Monument, a 62-meter-high statue, or 102 meters including its base. It is meant to symbolize the personification of national victory in World War II. Not far away stands the Kyiv Peshisk Lavra monastic complex, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a sacred place that holds ancient caves where Orthodox monks lived in prayer and isolation since the 11th century. Number 4. Lithuania. Lithuania is the second Baltic tiger we see on this list. It is a country rich in history and natural beauty. Lithuanian forests are famous throughout Europe, imagine 0.5 hectares of forest per inhabitant. Among its wonders stands Lake Galv, an enchanting body of water surrounding the fascinating Trakai castle. This lake, nestled in greenery, is truly ideal for those seeking a relaxing vacation immersed in nature. On an island in the lake lies the picturesque Trakai Castle. With its crenellated towers and red bricks, the castle was built in the 14th century by the Grand Dukes of Lithuania as a defensive stronghold against the Teutonic Knights. It was an important residence of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania until its gradual decline in the 15th century. Restored in the 20th century, today it is a popular tourist attraction and historical museum. The capital, Vilnius, is another must-see marvel. Its Baroque architecture, cobbled streets, and lively cafes create a truly unique and charming atmosphere. Vilnius has been an important cultural and political center for centuries, and its Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a true labyrinth of churches and historic buildings. Don't forget to visit Gediminas Hill, where the castle of the same name stands, offering a panoramic view of the city. Another unmissable hill is the Hill of Crosses. It's only a 45-meter high mound, but it's very fascinating. With its 100,000 crosses, it is a well-known pilgrimage site in Lithuania. Number 5. Estonia. Estonia, a charming corner of the Baltics, offers a fascinating mix of history, nature, and culture. The capital, Tallinn, is a perfectly preserved medieval gem. It has a millennia-old history dating back to the 12th and 13th centuries when it was a thriving Hanseatic trading city. Conquered by Danes, Germans, Swedes, and Russians, its history reflects the influences of various European powers. The Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a perfectly preserved medieval masterpiece, with narrow cobbled streets, imposing towers, and defensive walls. The Russian Orthodox-style Alexander Nevsky Cathedral and the 15th-century Gothic Town Hall are among its most famous architectural symbols. If we can give you one piece of advice, visit it in winter. Tallinn's Christmas market is one of the most picturesque in Europe, especially since it's almost always under snow. But Estonia is not just Tallinn. Lahemar National Park, located a short distance from the capital, is a treasure trove of biodiversity and breathtaking landscapes. With its lush forests, marshes, and picturesque bays, it is the ideal place for nature lovers. Hiiumaa and Saaremaa, Estonia's two largest islands, offer untouched landscapes and rich history. Hiiumaa, smaller and quieter, is famous for its ancient Keipu lighthouse and wild forests. Saaremaa, the largest, boasts the picturesque Kuressaare Castle, serene beaches, and meteorite craters like Kali. Both islands are perfect for those seeking nature, traditions, and Nordic tranquility. Number 6. Belarus. Belarus is a country little known by the rest of Europe, but it holds some true hidden gems. Among these are the Braslav Lakes, a real paradise for nature lovers. The main attractions are about 300 lakes and ponds, varying in shape, size, depth, water composition, and transparency, as well as a diverse range of flora and fauna. They also have 30 islands, and because of their extraordinary beauty, they are called the Blue Necklace of Belarus. Visitors can explore scenic trails, go kayaking, or simply relax on the shores. Minsk, the capital of Belarus, is home to the Gates of Minsk, two monumental twin buildings in Stalinist style that frame the entrance to the city from the train station. Not far away is the Cathedral of the Holy Spirit, a masterpiece of Sarmatian Baroque architecture. Built in the 17th century, it is an important Orthodox place of worship. Closed during the Soviet era, it was reopened in 1990. Belarus, once part of the Soviet Union, has a complex history marked by wars and transformations. It is not a country well known for tourism, but it truly has much to offer. If you know of other places, share them with the community in the comments. Before revealing the 7th country that is part of Eastern Europe according to the map we have chosen, if you found this video informative, we kindly ask you to like it, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to not miss our new videos. We truly appreciate the support you give us. Number 7. European Russia. About 40% of the European continent belongs to Russia. Although small compared to Asian Russia, it is home to 3/4 of the Russian population and most of the nation's historical and architectural treasures. Among these, we cannot fail to mention Moscow, a city of more than 13 million people. If you visit this city, a stop at Red Square is essential. This place has a rich and tumultuous history dating back to the 15th century when it began as a market and later became a political center. Surrounded by historical monuments, including the Kremlin and the State Historical Museum, the square reflects various architectural styles, from neoclassical to traditional Russian. It has hosted many historic events, including the parades of the October Revolution and several state funerals of Soviet leaders. In Red Square, we find St. Basil's Cathedral. It was commissioned by Tsar Ivan the Terrible in the 16th century to celebrate the conquest of Kazan. Its architecture is characterized by onion-shaped domes, decorated in vibrant colors, creating an imposing silhouette. But European Russia is not limited to Moscow. In the Kaliningrad region, you'll find the Curonian Spit, a thin 98-kilometer-long sandbar that stretches between the Baltic Sea and the Curonian Lagoon. This extraordinary natural landscape, whose northern part belongs to Lithuania, is characterized by towering dunes, pine forests, and unique biodiversity. The Kaliningrad region is famous for being a Russian exclave surrounded by Poland and Lithuania. After World War II, this area, once part of East Prussia, became a Soviet outpost, thus maintaining its connection with the motherland. These are just a few of the many treasures Eastern Europe has to offer. Don't hesitate to share more with the community by writing them in the comments. If you found this video interesting, we recommend the one ranking all European countries from worst to best. It's not a ranking we made, of course, but we'd love to hear what you think. You can find this video in the top right corner. Well, that's all for this video. See you next time.